they most likely were probably afraid to talk to each other or anyone else, or feeling that same feeling I was feeling. And I created a little community around me of people that know each other. Now they can travel throughout that thing with a familiar group of people. And then once I see that they have made their they've established their thing, I've never been the type to be in groups and stay there. So then I'm like, okay, these people are cool now. Let me go try that again. And I just build little pods. And it's so much fun to do, because it's like, you sit back after a while, after you built like 5 or 6 pods and people were really like hitting it off, and you just kind of watch like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Sup everyone, welcome to Social Dynamics with Elijah Bilel. In this video, I'm actually taking a clip from the Sawduster Society where I talk with one of my colleagues, Gregory, about how to network at big ticket events. These are events that usually cost like $1,000 plus to attend, so you want to make sure that you get the maximum amount of value if you're going to be going to a place like that. And making connections is key, because if you don't, you're going to hate yourself for wasting that money and not maximizing all the connections that you can make. We actually talked about a very duplicatable framework you can use to forge those relationships and connections so that both you and the person you're talking with can benefit from that. With that being said, let's go ahead and play that clip and get into it.
I suppose some people may be saying, the convo is a little too philosophical. Let's put some concrete examples in there. And that's actually fair. So I think a good place to start would be the scenario where we met at, which was a Vid Summit. That's at an event that a lot of times events are great networking opportunities because they're a conduit to bring people together that usually have a similar outcome that they want to achieve. And to be honest, some of these seminars and some summits are expensive. So if you're there, you have money, clearly, or you have ambition if you scraped up the money to get there in the first place.
Right.
So I would ask you, like, when you see someone like you would like to talk to, like at some event like this, or just any event in general, how do you go about initiating a conversation with them when you're at this event?
So I'm glad you asked that, because I feel like from the outside looking in, it looks like it's just so easy for me to just walk up to people and create a group of people that, are connected. But I too, still to this day, suffer with that kind of, there's an imposter that says, I don't belong in this crowd. I'm at Vid Summit for the first time. I don't know anyone here. These people have millions of followers. These people are doing this. These people are showing up on YouTube. So if I come and talk to them, what's the chance they're going to even talk back to me, right? They're too busy. They're too famous. They're too important for me. So when I came to Vid Summit, the first person I ran into was a friend of mine named Deluxe. Well, he goes, I think his name is DJ, but where I met him, he went by Deluxe because he was in a rap school. So that was like the icebreaker. And then he started introducing me to people, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's just like any other event. I just find out something I want to know about this person, which is usually their name, because we have all this noise around us that our brain blocks out. But to get through to someone's attention, their name is the most important thing. Like if I would have said, hey, you in the vest, would you have heard that, right? Amongst everything else, like it's tuning that out. But I say, hey, Elijah, who knows my name, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing I ask is the name. Then I ask them a little bit about what they do. I either compliment like a shirt, shoes, something they're wearing, something I overheard in the conversation before I ever stepped over to them, because I just can't help but hear everything around me, ADHD. And then as I'm learning about them and they start learning about me, and I see someone that looks like they want to get in the conversation, but they're not quite sure, I understand that feeling. And so I'm like, hey, you come here, meet this person. And then I repeat that person's name, tell them a little bit about them, and then ask them that. And once them two have introduced and I've got those names in, and I just keep repeating that until I've got like 3, 4, 5, 6 people around me. And now I know a bunch of people. They know each other. They most likely were probably afraid to talk to each other or anyone else, or feeling that same feeling I was feeling. And I created a little community around me of people that know each other. Now they can travel throughout that thing with a familiar group of people. And then once I see that they have made they've established their thing, I've never been the type to be in groups and stay there. So then I'm like, okay, these people are cool now. Let me go try that again. And I just build little pods. And it's so much fun to do because it's like you sit back after a while after you built like 5 or 6 pods and people were really like hitting it off, and you just kind of watch like, dang, I did that.
I really wish I had this clip. If I had a crystal ball and I could see you were going to bring that up, there's the clip of Thanos, that Endgame, which says he's been asked like, what do you do once you completed this? Well, I sit down and rest on knowing that I created a grateful universe or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember it exactly.
And then what?
I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Yeah.
But that clip is so abused in like various YouTube videos to illustrate a point, and it would have fit perfectly here. But that's how you're feeling once you create these pods or crews of people, right?
Yeah.
What's up? Elijah here. I appreciate you clicking on this video and watching it. I gotta ask you to hit that thumbs up button and also hit that hype button. You can see how to hype the video on the screen right now. It goes a long way towards helping me make more videos like this and better serve you, the audience member. Every hype and like makes a difference and is very much appreciated. Now, let's go ahead and get into the video.
And the bonus, here's the bonus. You go to an event you've never been to before and you start doing you start with the people that are hosting the event, and then you move to build another pod. And one time when I met my friend Misty, I'm sitting at a table. I got 2 people here, and then everyone that I saw came in for the first time to this space. I was like, hey, you come here. And so it ended up being like 15, 20 people. And I was going around in circles, reciting all the names, introducing to the new person. And everyone was just like, wow. And so when we go into the room for the meetup to start and I sit down with them, they're like, I thought you were the host. I thought this was your meetup. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't even know what we're doing here. I'm about to learn with y'all. And it was just so funny because once you do that, people just see you in all these pods and you're the one creating them. And so you become an interesting person. And I don't even do it for that. That's just a bonus. So if you could take anything from that, the TLDR, create connections, genuine connections, be genuinely curious and empathetic about the people you meet, and you may find a lot more in common than you thought you had, whether it's the fears of getting to know people, something you do, a hobby you have, some other people you might go to add each other on LinkedIn or Facebook and see, oh, we got 35 mutual friends. How are we not friends, right?
Right. This is actually kind of giving me flashbacks of how the Veggie Outers got started, to be honest. Most of my audience already knows what the Veggie Outers is, so I'm not going to re-explain what it is. But a lot of meetup groups nowadays, they're spoiled with, Meetup and Facebook, which Facebook reworked their algorithm to accommodate Facebook groups and events.
Yeah.
But back when the Veggie Outers got started, none of that stuff existed. So it got started by literally me going to events and basically being, well, I'm not going to say business Cupid because that's something different. But I guess I'll just say social Cupid by basically talking to people, kind of selling them on the idea of the plant-based lifestyle. Have they tried vegan food? And I would get these, it would start with like me and another person. And before you know it, I would invite other people to join the conversation. Because when you're the one that's energetic and giving information, there's a certain allure that people can feel that they start hovering around. Like, you ain't got to hover around, just join the conversation.
Yeah.
And before you know it, that's how the group originally got started. And it is a skill, but it's a skill that you can develop. I think too many people, they're associated with just a personality trait, like either you have it or you don't.
Right.
Some people do have it naturally, but you can develop it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that because I think we just associate, like I'm an introvert, you're an extrovert. I can't do what you do, you can't do what I do. Or I'm drained by people, you're energized by people, right? Or the other way around. I think everything we do is a habit. Like if you do it enough times, no matter what it is, good or bad, you're going to form a habit from it. And so growing up in my family, I was already extroverted by nature. Like I just love to be loud and get attention, all that stuff. But I was beat and reprimanded because, you know, children are to be seen and not heard, only to speak when spoken to, you know, go sit down somewhere with all that noise. So it just kind of makes you go inside, and you feel like or I felt like I was conditioned to be quiet and be in the corner and not people. And so I always felt guilty peopling or being the center of attention. And so it started coming out as like me acting out. But when you get to be an adult, you have to go out there and be in the world. You learn about sales jobs because, you know, you're trying to get your way make your way in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out what really works for you. But the beautiful part for me, I've become an ambivert. I can be recharged sitting in this room alone with no music, no screens on, and just be okay with myself. But you put me in a crowd of people, I could be energized by that too. So I can recharge either way, but it took some action. Like, it took getting out of my comfort zone, which my comfort zone had been introversion, because that's what I was used to. It wasn't what I was energized by, but it was just what I was used to. But I was always angry because I was drained, because I was alone, because I'm naturally charged up by people. But at the same time, if I'm charged too much by people, that actually ends up draining me because I don't have time to process all that's happened with these people. So I think that if you force yourself to do hard things, if you make yourself do what you're uncomfortable with doing, you get new layers to yourself, right? Like there's just something about being able to do what's uncomfortable long enough for a new habit or a new skill to be learned or acquired.